The death toll from one of the strongest earthquakes to hit Japan this century stands at 13. The epicenter located near Kumamoto prefecture. Nearly 37,000 homes are without power, and this is, of course, taking place during a heat wave. More than 9,000 people are in evacuation centers. Communication services are disrupted. At least 3 of the deaths were inside a newly renovated shopping mall that had reopened just last month. Its owners had promised a thorough inspection after a gas explosion that reportedly occurred after the earthquake.
Rescuers continue a frantic race against time to search for survivors more than a day after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake shook southern Japan. One of the key sites, a shopping mall outside Kashima in Kumamoto prefecture, that was torn apart by an apparent explosion soon after the quake struck. Rescuers are combing through the debris after the second floor collapsed. An investigation is underway into the cause of the blast. Mall operator Aeon says its staff evacuated more than 200 shoppers and workers right after the initial quake.
このような結果を招くことを深くお詫び申し上げます。
Scores of injuries reported in other affected areas, with hospitals treating wounds ranging from burns to fractures. The quake left a trail of destruction, causing sections of a stone wall around the historic Kumamoto castle to crumble into the moat, and a bridge to partially buckle and fall into the Kumagawa River. The government is prioritizing saving lives, deploying thousands of personnel for disaster relief operations. Aircraft have been dispatched to help assess damage and deliver aid. The epicenter was about 20 kilometers south of Kumamoto City. That's central Kyushu's largest city with a population of around 700,000 people. Police said they received more than 380 emergency calls, including reports of collapsed buildings and people seeking rescue. The initial quake was followed by more than 100 aftershocks.
CNA's senior correspondent Michiyo Ishida has more on damage in that collapsed mall.
Aeon held a news conference and said there were 3,000 shoppers on Tuesday, more than the average weekday due to summer holidays, and there were 2,700 workers. And 30 minutes after the strong tremor, shoppers were evacuated. Then 50 minutes after, an explosion took place. Now, President of Aeon, Mr. Michiyo Ishida, said 3 were still missing. In all, he confirmed 3 died, 1 was under cardiac arrest, and 4 injured. And he said all of them were workers at Aeon Mall. Now, at Nippon Paper Industries, rescue and relief also continue, according to Chief Cabinet Secretary Minoru Kihara. Local media say 7 were rescued, and among them 5 died and 2 sustained injuries. And there are 4 others trapped inside whose conditions are unknown. Then there are reports from residents that there are people inside collapsed homes, so there could yet be many more requiring assistance. Now, Ms. Takaichi said at the top of an emergency disaster response headquarters meeting this afternoon, rescue workers have been increased with 4,600 members of the self-defense force, 2,000 police, 1,210 firefighters on the ground. She said so far 450 evacuation shelters have been set up. Food, water, carbon box beds, commonly used in the past couple of years as disasters supplies, have been prepared. And Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi said 300 air conditioners were transported by the self-defense force, and backup power are being pushed out. We do know Kumamoto is an industrial area with semiconductor factories, but for how long operations are suspended, it's not clear due to aftershocks. The government has been calling for residents to be on the alert for another possibly big one until next week. Now, there are also disruptions to public transportation. JR said in a news conference local train lines will remain suspended. Railway tracks have been damaged and electric poles leaning towards the tracks. And Kyushu bullet train has been partially resumed, and Japan Airlines has decided to schedule flights between Fukuoka and Kagoshima. Utilities may take long to restore, and power outage is reported in 84,000 homes.